The approach is makes sense. I think.
Of course.
You can speak and say whatever you want.
Yes.
And then-
The one that passed.
The one that passed, that was really interesting. They were all really
I mean, that was like 5.
well, no, actually, the second time around,
Usually not a
the one
problem.
that
I've
passed.
never
was
become a
this
crossover.
you know, put a limit on it. I mean,
All right, well,
strict
and
time
then of course we
frames.
have new associations popping
I was
up,
just
like
saying,
CDI this year.
There's
I
that,
gave a talk
right,
yesterday
and
on
it's
them
one of the things that
specifically,
turned
so
me
I
on to
learned
it
some
is
of those.
that.
Oh, really?
Because otherwise.
So one of them is Ellen.
My daughter's a
Sure.
lawyer.
Ellen Miller,
Yes.
who worked at the
She
bar,
said,
Yes, she did.
remember,
Yes, she did.
in San
And
Francisco.
she's now working for the California Board of Education. But it's not clearly in what capacity. It's in a senior manager capacity. It's not clear. It's not clear to me what.
Well, they just named an executive director.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Did they?
Can't remember the name, I saw a blurb on it in some publication or something.
Good.
I understand Ellen's role is going to be
I've read
the
when I
liaison
was
with the
doing,
local bar association.
We're gonna get
Are
started
you,
now.
you guys ready for the orientation?
We want to work closely with.
That's
a good skill, I like this.
this.
David, we're gonna get started now.
Oh, okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Just
Do
catching
you guys
up.
wanna just, you don't have to move all your computers, but do you just wanna kind of scooch down a little bit so we're all a little closer?
I'll go on this side so
That
we're
would be
even.
great. I mean, it's not, this room isn't super conducive to having an intimate conversation, but
Introduce ourselves. We've got a few people who are going to join us by phone. Marshall, I think, is that right? And Matt.
Welcome to Reservationless Plus conferencing. Enter your...
Marshall's not going to mute. Okay. I feel so discombobulated without Suzanne.
Thank you. You will now be placed into conference.
Right there.
We're the parents.
I know, exactly. It is like when my mom died, I was like, I guess I can just go have a whiskey and don't have to ask anyone.
Sounds good.
The
one Matt will be joining at 2.
Right, for his opinion. Okay.
And additionally, if anybody needs the Wi-Fi information for the new people who don't know how to connect to the Wi-Fi, it's up there. Sorry.
All right, so with that, let's get started. I think I'll do our little icebreaker before we do any of the official stuff, like even roll call. Okay, so I want us to just go around the room and introduce ourselves. And it's been tradition that we've done a little kind of icebreakery thing, along with the introducing yourself, just to sort of add a little color to it. So in the past, people have been required to say their favorite movie or their favorite band or et cetera. What I'm going to suggest this time is that in addition to your name and whatever short biographical information you want to share, please share with the group either some piece of current events that you actually find positive or hopeful, or
That's tough.
yes, and it may be, and this is why I've added an and or. The alternative is share with the group something that you do to sustain, comfort, or deal with the onslaught of bad current news. So I'm going to start with me, because I've had more chance to think about this than anyone else. I'm Amy Baumsey. I'm a partner at Arnold & Porter. My practice is litigation. It's a combination of commercial and business litigation and attorney liability. I do a fair amount of law firm counseling on ethics matters. Also have some corporate clients who I counsel on ethics. I've been at Arnold & Porter 5 years. Before that, I was at a lovely little firm called Howard Rice, which was local, which got swallowed up like a little minnow by a whale called Arnold & Porter. Okay, so I have two things. So for the positive piece of news, Jerry Brown just appointed a slew of new judges, some of whom are people I know who are terrific people, including one a woman named Jenna Whitman to the Superior Court in Alameda, who's a friend and former colleague of mine, just an incredibly good, humble, ethical person, out lesbian, married with a child, just all the kind of things that are the opposite of what we see in judicial appointments elsewhere. So that's my piece of positive news. My way of dealing with the onslaught of negative news is going to the gym and taking a 20-pound ball and slamming it down repeatedly until I don't have any muscle power anymore.
Okay, that's a lot to follow.
Sorry.
My name is Steve Bundy, and I am the vice chair of the committee. My background is that I practiced law for a while, and then for about 30 years I was an academic at UC Berkeley, from which I'm now retired. I do some law of lawyering work at a law firm, and I do some expert witness stuff, and I really love the law of lawyering, and I love this committee. I guess if I were going to think about good news, I'll just give you, and this is good news for me is things like something I've been involved with a little bit peripherally out in Stanislaus County, which is working with the Catholic Church to register voters. And getting people registered has been it's very slow work. But it's very satisfying. In terms of other things I do, to defuse, I play the guitar badly and sing loudly.
Great. Amber, can we go to you next?
Hello, my name is Amber Lee. I'm one of the newbies here. I'm very excited to be here. I am an attorney at Rogers Joseph O'Donnell. I work with Mary Baldwin, whom I think most of you probably know. I took a bit of a detour from the practice. I took almost 7 or 8 years off, sort of in the middle of my career, kind of bummed around LA. The minute I came back to San Francisco, Mary got a hold of me. Now I'm back where I was before I left. I do mostly professional liability defense, some complex business litigation, some employment law defense, a little bit of everything, I guess. Let's see, what piece of good news? I really had to search for that one.
Yeah.
I would say the girl in Sweden who found the 1,500-year-old sword. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. I thought that was awesome, and she did she penned a short op-ed piece about what that was like. That was really exciting. I think she's 9, so that was really cute, and gave me a little bit of a reprieve from everything that's going on. What I do to sort of decompress, I redesign blogs obsessively and use one of those apps that decorate things and move things around. I find that very calming. I guess that's about it.
Great. Welcome.
Thank you.
Morning. My name is Justin Fields. I'm a partner at Duane Morris in San Francisco. My practice is primarily in the professional liability defense area, but I also handle general commercial litigation. This is my second year on COPRAC. What I do is to cope with our current state of affairs. It is really what I've been doing for 8 months, not by choice, but because it's all consuming, is I have a baby. So when I'm not working or here doing good work for COPRAC, I'm changing diapers and cleaning up vomit and trying to feed my now teething child. So that largely consumes my time and is a very healthy distraction. But when I'm able to put him down and get pre-approval from my wife, I like to make dips. It's been something that's very cathartic for me. I'm not a very good cook, but I like the chopping, the mincing. So
When are you gonna bring it in?
I'll bring some hummus and tzatziki for one of our potlucks.
Hi, I'm Kendra Bosner. I'm a partner at Hinshaw and Culbertson. This is my second year on CoPrac. I don't know that I ever decompress because I have a 7 and 9-year-old. I wouldn't use the word decompress, but when I'm not working, I'm with them, coaching their sports teams and dealing with their homework and everything else that goes along with that age. And interestingly, my 9-year-old had to do a news presentation on a positive news story last week. And we searched high and low, we came across the sword story, that's how I knew about that. And it couldn't have any negativity in it at all, which was quite a challenge. She found a news story about a turtle who had broken its shell, the underneath part, from the Maryland Zoo. A worker from the Maryland Zoo found this turtle, and they crafted a Lego cart for the turtle to ride on because it could no longer use its legs the way the shell was broken. So she did a whole presentation on that. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I feel like I'm working all the time and dealing with kids all the time, and I need some sleep.
Hi, I'm Dina Roach. I'm a partner at O'Reilly & Roach in San Francisco. And my practice consists primarily of providing advice and counsel to lawyers and law firms related to partner departures and attorney transitions from one firm to another. I also do provide law firms general legal advice related to kind of assisting with general counsel stuff related to a myriad of ethics issues as well. And positive news story. I was thinking of an animal positive news story that I read, but I'm not going to share that because you guys are just sharing two ones about animals. But I just think when I read about young people becoming more involved in caring about the environment and the planet and the political system, that gives me hope. I mean, I think that that's important, and I think the emphasis on finding positivity. That I think what I try to do, and I don't always make time to do that, is just to focus on like one positive thing about my day, sort of to kind of counteract that onslaught of, negative news, or just like that feeling sometimes we feel like with all that's going on, that hopelessness about stuff, and so to focus on, because there's positive things about every day. So that's sort of what I try to do mentally, is put myself in that positive mind frame at least once a day. So there's that.
Hi, my name is Eric Dietz. I'm a partner at Gordon Reese Scully Mansakani. I am resident in San Diego, but seem to work mostly out of LA. In terms of positive news, and this may seem a little strategic or convenient, but I, like many I'm sure, have been involved in a number of programs regarding the new rules and their implementation. And I am encouraged by the reception those programs have received and the general enthusiasm among audience members in terms of guidance and the effort to make the rules a little more user-friendly and easily understood. So it kind of vindicates a bit of what we're doing, because I was just telling Kendra and Dina that I think I have 3 programs next week. And after a while, it does get a little repetitive, I will say that. And in terms of decompressing or stress, I have a 13 and 11-year-old. They both play lacrosse, and I help coach their teams, which, in particular with my 11-year-old son, the idea of little boys with sticks whacking each other on a field might seem a little counterintuitive in terms of relaxation, but somehow I'm able to vent some of my frustration through that process.
Excuse me, my name is Adam Koss. I'm at the recently opened Koss firm, which is a 2-person shop. I do professional liability. I am on the plaintiff side, mostly now, although I'm not entirely, which is a switch for me. It had been quite a while doing defense work. So I would say the good news, I like to see that people are getting involved, people are paying attention to politics and trying to make a change. We'll see if it actually results in anything after the voter drives in November. As far as decompressing, not just from the news, but from work in general, I've taken up gardening, which is difficult to do in the fog by my house. So I have a little greenhouse. But it's fun to just go outside for like 3 or 4 hours on a Saturday afternoon, put a ball game on, and see if I can make something grow.
I'm Theresa Schmidt, from the partner in the firm of Schmidt & Watson in Culver City, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of my background because it impacts what I do right now. I was with the State Bar for 10 years. I practiced with David, who was there even longer, and in the Office of the Chief Trial Counsel, and that's where I got involved in ethics work. I took a hiatus from practice of law and went into State Bar administration. So I was executive director of the State Bar of Arizona and the Oregon State Bar. Then came back here and opened up a firm. So in terms of good news, my only niece is pregnant with her first child.
No, that's great.
It's going to, yes, and it's going to be a boy, and that means it's the first boy in several generations in our direct chain. Of course, they've got to be boys and girls in there somewhere, but it's going to be the first boy baby we've had in a long time, so it's going to be a lot of fun. In terms of decompression, I turn on the internet for 2 seconds every day, and then I go and I learn something else. I read Koprak, and for the last 6 months, I've been working on getting a new credential, and I've had 100 hours, it required 100 hours of training, which I've done since January. So I sit all day under headsets listening to training. I finally got it done. And I'm hoping I'll be done with it by the end of the year. So that's what I do. Oh, and what do? I do ethics consulting, and I also do association management consulting and regulation consulting.
I'm Toby Inlander. I'm not a lawyer. I'm a public member on this committee. I'm new. I spent my career in nonprofit management, and until I started consulting 2 years ago, I was running a nonprofit organization that was born of the Los Angeles County Bar Association that provided community-based mediation services and mediation and conflict resolution training in public schools. Pardon my voice. I do, however, have some experience with the state bar. I sat for 3 years on the Jenny Commission, and I was very happy to hear Eric speak because I also sat on the Rules Revision Commission, the second one. And it's good to know that they're being well received. I've heard that from other places. It was a very interesting process. In terms of good news, this may sound odd because it's not quite good news, but I read this morning a public statement made by the police chief of Burlington, Vermont, about in response to an obituary that had gone viral about a young woman who had passed away from opioid addiction. And it was one of the most insightful, caring, moving, understanding, and moving forward thing that I've ever read and the fact that it came from a law enforcement officer was extremely, inspiring and motivating. So that's that. I find cooking therapeutic, although I'm moving, so I'm unable to cook at the moment. I read a lot, and really to decompress, some friends and I learned how to play Maj. And so I do a lot of cracks and dams, and I like hearing the clicking of the tongues. That helps.
I'm David Carr. I'm a solo practitioner in San Diego. Most of my practice is defending lawyers in state bar. Hello?
Okay, wait just 1 sec till that gets finished.
Okay. Most of my practice is defending lawyers in state bar discipline proceedings, which is logical since I was formerly a discipline prosecutor. In fact, Theresa was my boss for a while, so all my bad habits. Thank you, Theresa. No, just kidding. I also provide legal ethics advice, and I represent quite a few applicants in the admissions process before the Committee of Bar Examiners. My piece of good public policy news is very small and very parochial. Our mayor in San Diego has finally announced a effort to crack down on the scooter madness, which has plagued us for the last 6 months and made our sidewalks virtually a war zone for those of us who live in downtown San Diego. Very small, very parochial. But I agree the new rules of professional conduct, to me, are an incredibly positive development. And I'm very excited about that. My joke is that for me, it's like Christmas and the 4th of July rolled into one. So super gratified that finally got done and adopted by the Supreme Court. In terms of decompression, I'm a complete history nerd. So I read lots of books on history, and I'm comforted by the fact that throughout most of history, things have been much worse than they are now for most people. So it gives me a sense of perspective on our current situation and some hope that the cycle of history the pendulum of history will swing back to something more positive.
Andrew.
Hello, everybody. My name's Andrew Tutt. For the new individuals who don't know me, I'm a state bar employee. I'm usually usually assigned and working as the staff attorney in the Office of Professional Competence. For the last 2.5 months, I've been temporarily assigned to be the managing director of the State Bar's Office of Access and Inclusion. And a piece of good news, which is associated with the work that the staff in that office is doing, is they oversee the Legal Services Trust Fund program, which helps provide grants to legal aid organizations to help low-income and indigent Californians. And recently, as I'm sure you're all aware, federal interest rate has been going up at a steady pace. And so, we're working with banks to increase their IOLTA rates. And there's been a significant increase in the money that is remitted to the State Bar as part of that process. And it's really exciting to see the trust fund program benefit from that large increase in funds. And as a result, many low-income indigent Californians are going to be able to receive more legal services than they otherwise may have. In terms of how to get away from the craziness that surrounds us, I'm a news junkie, so it's hard for me sometimes because I just like to read, consume, and hear about what's going on, and it is, as we're all alluding to, not always very positive. 2 things I do is I recently, I guess for the last year, I've been playing an old man's basketball game on Sunday mornings, so that's been fun. I've thus far avoided major injury. Usually someone goes down with a turned ankle, pulled calf, or a jammed finger. I'm hoping to avoid any of those going forward, but that's been really enjoyable. It's a great group of guys and a good way to get exercise and clear your head. And secondly, as many others have alluded to, I also have 2 young kids who are 5 and 7, and just squeezing them a lot tighter in the last 1.5 years than I may have otherwise, and just focusing on them and enjoying their activities and being with them is a really nice time during the day or weeks for me. So those are the 2 things I try to do.
Hi, I'm Mimi Lee. I work in the Office of Professional Competence with Andrew. I staff this committee, I staff the commission, and now now I'm going to be staffing with Andrew the task force on access through innovation of legal services. I've worked here for almost 12 years, I guess. Good news, I actually don't read the news or watch the news or anything. I find it very depressing and very upsetting. So if I had to pick something hopeful news, I guess would be, the fact that North Korea and South Korea, recently, I wouldn't say made amends, but they're taking steps forward to hopefully maybe one day making it easier for families to be reunited. So that's something I'm hopeful for. What I do to decompress, usually Sunday family football dinners. It's actually an all-day event. My brother invites all his friends. I bring all my friends, and it's pretty much an all-day cooking fest. So I like to sous vide food, smoke food. My new thing is making bread, like feeding my yeast and making sourdough or pizzas or whatever I could find on the internet pretty much, and feeding the whole family basically of friends.
Great. Okay, we had one late arrival. We're just going around and giving a brief introduction and then saying one positive piece of current event news, if you can think of one, and what you do to clear your mind from the onslaught of negative news.
Yes, I gathered that. Richard Solomon, starting my last year on the committee, enjoying every moment. I'm a retired lawyer, law professor, and part-time arbitrator, and just politically active. I'm from Santa Barbara, that's why I'm late. I'm sorry, I had an 8 o'clock flight, didn't get me here on time. But best we could do. I wasn't going to get up at 6, take a 6 o'clock flight. What do I like to do to decompress? Well, so first of all, hopeful news for me is I'm working with a nonprofit to try and raise money to put lawyers, pro bono lawyers, together with immigrants in deportation proceedings. And we have just reached our $100,000 first year's budget goal. Local corporation gave us $10,000 to put us just close to that. And I'm very thrilled. Lawyers are trained, going public this month. So it's a little way of resisting. I don't mean to impose my views on anyone. I hope I'm not offending anyone by this, but you never know. And so, but this is a way of kind of just doing what we can do to help our neighbors. And what do I do to decompress? I love sailing. I haven't sailed lately, but I love being on the water. So I just love being on a boat. I don't care what it is. I just love being. So.
Great. Okay, so I'm told that we have some weird technical difficulty that is going to require us to take a 5-minute break.
Should we check and see if there's any COPAC members on the phone?
Oh, yeah, great idea. Thank you, Mimi. Is there anyone on the phone?
Hi, good morning. This is Stephen Sparta.
Hi, Stephen. Why don't you introduce yourself to everyone? Sorry you're not here.
I'm sorry, the connection's not very good. Shall I introduce myself at this point?
Yes, please.
Hi, everybody. I'm sorry I can't be with you in person. I'm Stephen Sparta, a public member. I'm a psychologist practicing in San Diego. I mostly do clinical work, but I also teach at the University of California in their medical school and their psychiatry department. And I've also been involved in activities related to professional ethics with the American Psychological Association. I was once chair of the ethics committee and helped write the current ethical code for psychologists. I participate in legal education programs and do quite a bit of court-appointed work. In my free time, I'm mostly involved with my grandkids. They occupy most of my time, and that's a welcome diversion from the current news. And I like to walk, watch movies, and when I can, cook. I've really enjoyed my time on this committee. I really respect and like all of the people on this committee, and I'll be happy to say hello in person to the new members during the next meeting.
Okay. Anyone else with us on the phone? Okay. Let's sign off briefly and then reconvene as soon as we fix this technical error.
the analysis more and that sort of concept about, you know. I mean, obviously there people are mindful of it. So I did not come across this.
Really? Really? They already looked at
You
want me to talk?
Who asked actually? Asked me that.
Yeah. Testing, testing. Hello? Testing. Testing. Can you guys hear me? Hello? Can you guys hear me? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
So they felt like the implementation would have been successful, but the court disagreed.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Well, the whole thing was they put in the screen, but it was.
How are you?
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Settling into your role?
It's
not so bad. I thought it was going to be on. So I do know how to do it. See,
Big shoes to fill.
Yeah, no, no question.
They keep saying testing.
And then I'm stuck.
She's not here. Right.
Then where's Suzanne?
Right.
Passage of time.
So we went well beyond what most of us.
What's going on with our stuff?
So if you look at the perspective
Apparently,
before it kind of gets into the screen, it's
Testing.
So,
we're going to show up in the lesson.
yeah, I would say that in terms
they let them decide whether or not to take the case. And this court said they let them go beyond that, so therefore they did like get to keep talking. They could have a screen. Yeah. So it's helpful.
Should I keep talking?
I just about fell off my chair. Someone's actually a member of the public. What's
testing?
It's the worst thing
well. Walk down the hall.
Yeah, I mean, I think conceptually it's like, I mean, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
You just sat in your office.
I sat in my office.
Not from this
I think practice in Los
from the
Angeles.
perspective of this is like,
But it's just when you have 30,000 lawyers,
I mean, that's all I know.
only 50,000.
Right, and not just regarding the effective things, saying, okay, we know this feels this way, they accept it. Right. So, you're not talking about, like, obviously there's like a consequence to being disqualified, we're not saying there's not. It's not like
Works in Center City. And in the morning it was like in South in Africa. All the Gracie determinants coming out of the parking lot where they're bound. You know, all lawyers like me. No, it's just, you have a very large.
Well, it'll be held in the new standard shortly, but you saw this. Some of them have
Well, that's true, it is true.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I just
feel like, you know, well, I guess at least maybe I'm not sure what the right answer to that is. What do you think?
I know. Yeah, very industrious. Relying on like rule pretend you rely on different like
Yeah, actually, it's interesting. I have
yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Right.
I
I mean, I guess it really raises the question: is there an additional sort of like disclosure requirement based on the nipples? Yes, in certain circumstances, right? I mean, I think that would be the outside. Well, and then all the lawyers yesterday, all these solos plus what do I have to
about
I have kids that are different.
So
right
are you
or so and so.
to you?
That's
That kind of that's
but anyway,
yeah. I've done it for a few
Or,
firms now.
We're losing our.
And it's easier when I have it in front of me and I'm looking at the actual language. So when someone's
But-
executed on a tax action, like what are the things I need to change in my engagement agreement? That's very, with the rules, like a very open-ended question.
Everybody reads.
So I need to follow
right. I don't know. I mean, it's interesting.
Because they want the model on it, like what is it? Whereas I'm, here's more of that. This is what it says.
Practical advice.
Yeah, right, it depends on, right.
It's more risk management.
Exactly, that's right, yeah.
We're not adding that to this.
No, I know.
This is a really old opinion that's gone out from public
That's right, and so I said, well, Do you have advanced waivers? Do you have like, what do you
I
have?
don't know
Like,
what's in your agreement, but.
And so the ones come first, those are ones that have been out. Yeah, but you don't, that doesn't mean you should feel free to like,
Someone else
comment.
has
You
that.
know, This whole thing is wrong, we gotta go in a different direction. It's your member. But yes, the ones that come first are the
Have
ones that
you
have gone out.
discussing 5.2 and 5.3 in particular?
That one, the
covered
main
that
revisions were making.
It's not,
Right.
it's not a straightforward process to delegate that responsibility.
Yeah.
And what has the response been?
So.
I'm so excited that you're here. I'm very excited.
Actually, yesterday, not with my firm, is when I talked about 5.2 and how the subordinate lawyer has to speak up.
Yeah.
Communicate
I've done my 50
the fact
hours.
that they don't agree with the
I'm outta here.
approach. They said, okay, so the rule says you have to communicate that to your superior. Do you also have to communicate it to the client? And what's the duty there? You know, which obviously takes us into other rules and other issues and that opinion we're writing it
I was gonna say it relates that
right?
to that competency opinion.
So
I don't wanna say old boys, but the old boys.
I feel like the bigger firms didn't jump in
Yeah,
on
I
that.
mean, it was
but there were
just-
some of the other ones that picked up
It
on
wasn't
and
that
how
big
that
of an issue, I
rule
remember.
stopped short. It says you have to communicate it to your superior.
I remember
It doesn't
the
go
days
beyond
of
that.
a legal bill,
but
I've seen these bills from the seventies,
haven't
for services rendered March 1972,
reaction to that
$25,000
one
was your
just
bill.
has been.
And then there was no detail,
Can't
it was
just
broken
go
down by
ahead and do
hours.
what my superior tells me to do. I have to actually think about this and I can't just, bitch about it to my colleague, behind closed doors. I haven't affirmed it. But then the next question always is, well, do I have to report for misconduct to the bar? People don't get that. Like, it doesn't require you to do
No, I was
that.
gonna say that's, yeah.
So now I'm adding that in as, even though it's not a key rule for us, we didn't adopt 8.3.
Yeah.
I still tell them that you don't have.
I mean, we saw that with
That's
the
good,
days.
because you have every obligation to do that.
Privilege.
So,
Privilege now.
I guess, yeah, it's talking about 5.2, my point of doing it was to let everybody know that you can't just rely on your
Say that
superior.
you have an email.
It was a practical matter if you talk to,
other
right,
questions.
I mean, it depends on the size of your firm, it's a practical matter for a larger firm, and you tried to talk to like, maybe your supervising attorney and you got no like successful response about anything, you may talk to someone else at the firm, right? I mean, it's like,
Well, and
to
then
try to say like, hey, the goal is to try to comply with this issue, so.
It feels a little bit of a thing. I mean, when I worked with children, right, and everybody got fingerprints.
So I said we just take it all offline.
There's insurance brokers out.
Are we still stuck?
Yes.
Very frustrating. I feel like I know.
We're still at the for our outside counsel or something like that.
Those of.
I mean, I know it's a different way.
Yeah, but certainly I represent many lawyers who are also friends, or at least, in one context, meeting in a
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead
meeting in a
with the
bed.
meeting. We're gonna take our meeting offline from the webcast until they figure it out.
Okay.
And then, we can go, the closed captioning is not working and it's not ADA compliant, so.
There's a meeting in LA, and LA's meeting's closed captioning showing up.
On our meeting, they're trying to.
What a mess.
Okay,
Okay, guys, we're gonna come back together.
So let's take roll.
Yep.
And let me.
And then staff report, right, yeah.
Edith?
Everyone, Stephen, can we come back, sit down?
Oh, he's there.
Okay.
It should be better now.
Yeah.
Hello? See?
There is that.
All right, everyone, we are gonna go back. We're not gonna be webcasting right now because we're having some technical difficulties, but that shouldn't impact our work in the least. And so, sorry for that long break, but let's go ahead and take roll.
All right, Amy Bundy.
Here.
Stephen Bundy.
Here.
Kendra Besner. David Carr.
Here.
Eric Dietz. Andrew Dilworth. Justin Fields.
Here.
Matthew Hodel. Toby Inlander. Adam Koss. Amber Lee. Tina Roche. Theresa Schmidt. Richard Solomon. Stephen Sparta. Stephen, are you with us? Okay, Marsha Whitney. All right, thank you.
Okay, and now's the time we take any comments from the public, if there's any public members, not public members, but members of the public who have any comments. Okay, hearing none. I have no announcements to make, so maybe we'll move on to the staff report.
Sure, I'll try to be quick. In fact, I have to duck out in 3 minutes to oversee a presentation at a board meeting, which is occurring on the 8th floor. So really quickly, just want to welcome the new members. Really excited to have you guys. I hope you find it fun and rewarding. I think most people do. As part of my spiel, when I introduce myself, I usually say there are many things I do at the State Bar, but working with this committee is the most enjoyable thing I do. I really enjoy it and treasure it, and I hope you guys will have a similar feeling as well once you get to know us. With respect to the committee's work, 2 of your opinions are currently circulating for public comment. 14-0003, which is settling before withdrawal, and 12-0005, which is seeking legal advice about current client. And the great thing about these is they both have the same public comment end date, which is November 26th. So they're still out there to receive public comment. I'm only aware of one public comment. It's in your materials.